Hey, look, we're live.
Hey.
Look at Lex. Lex is going to shit himself.
So struggling internet, bro.
Technical problem.
Hope you coached him.
Okay, hey, hey, we're live. Welcome to Battle Vortex Talk Live. This is the VEGA Conflict edition. But hey, we're going to talk about our favorite game in the universe. With me, I have some irregular vegans, such as myself. I am Death by Nachos, also known as Osama bin Nachos. Silence, I cheese you. With me to the immediate that way, we have our resident Care Bear, Darth Earth. Very nice. We have the man of many words, which is why he's muted, Prolific. There we go. We also have our resident stalker, serial killer, child scarer, Darth Lycan. Also, we have the big man, the man who supposedly runs a show, Fear, White Chocolate. We have the man, the myth, the legend, the elderly, Strider.
Good morning, gentlemen.
And we have two very special guests. We have one who's going to be quiet and have multiple strokes during the show. That's our community manager, Alexi from KIXEYE. But our very special guest is Alan Patmore, the Chief Product Officer of KIXEYE. And for those who don't know, that means Mr. Harbin. Right below him, or off to the side, we have Mr. Patmore. Welcome, gentlemen. Thank you for joining.
Thank you.
All right,
Thanks
Alan.
for having me.
Yes, we do appreciate the time. I guess you're on a little mini vacation out visiting the Upside Down Land.
Yeah, and I'm very jet lagged, so it should be interesting to see how I answer these questions.
It's only 17 hours. That's not bad.
Yeah, it's not bad at all.
You could shake that
I've
off.
slept. I've slept a total of I think 4 hours in the last 3 days.
Ouch.
Did you
Well,
get
that's
used
how
to
we
the
are
gravity
sometimes, so.
from walking on the ceiling?
Yeah.
I can't figure out how they pulled you down to the other side of the floor.
The toilets flush backwards. It's
Yeah,
all
I was going to
weird.
say, was that one of the first things you checked to see if the water went the opposite way?
Oh yeah, it really
Yeah.
does.
That's so cool. Toilet humor. Anyway,
Yeah.
Spider check. Spider check on your toilet.
yeah, they have spiders the size of cows down there.
The bigger the spider, the less deadly they are. That's what I learned
Oh.
last night.
Well, that's
Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
because it doesn't need to poison you; it just drags you off to its lair.
yeah.
Yeah.
It just gobbles you up. All
Sure.
Unfortunately, that doesn't work that way with ex-wives, though. Usually, the bigger they are, the more dangerous they are. Poor Irv's having a cow now.
He's
Hey,
freaking out.
Alan,
Memories.
again, yeah, thank you for joining us. Hey, now, you are the Chief Product Officer at KIXEYE. What, in geek speak, what do you do?
So essentially, all the game teams report into me. So I make sure that we have our proper goals. The teams are properly staffed. They have everything they need to be successful. And ultimately, I work with Will on sort of managing high-level strategy of our product portfolio, and directionally help the teams figure out what direction the game should go over the course of their life cycle. So for new IP, it is really working with the game teams on defining what feature set a specific game should have at launch. And then for live games, it's working with the game teams to sort of look at the roadmap, define what features we should be working on, etc. I mean, obviously, this is very team-driven, and I'm there in really more of a support capacity to make sure that they are successful.
So you're basically managing these different groups, each team.
Yeah, yeah.
I'll-
So
I'll-
each game team reports into me.
All I heard was golf, and that's what I thought. That's all I heard.
Yeah, I wish.
I play golf with
Yeah,
Will.
more time. No, I don't know if Will's a golfer. I don't actually play golf. I spend most of my time playing video games.
That's good. There is a nice course up by the San Francisco Zoo, though.
Oh, is there? Okay. Well,
Yes,
that's
there
good
is.
to know.
Very nice, and it's actually public. It's only maybe $50-$60 for a round, so that's not too bad.
Yeah, that's really reasonable.
Doing a little background on you. You've actually been the gaming industry for what 15 years now?
I think it's 20 years now,
20
which is really
years.
scary because that means I'm getting old. Yeah,
We're gonna have to
I
dig
started
deeper.
my first company in 1995, so that would be 20 years ago.
Wow. Now you came from a very big, well-known company. You came from Zynga. We'll just say the evil Z word. And what prompted the move and why? Because the type of game, the style is so different. Was that the main reason that you wanted that big of a change? What drew you to from the big time to at the time a much smaller company?
Well, historically, I had worked at smaller companies. So my background, the company that I talked about that I started in 1995 was called Surreal Software, and we made PC and PlayStation, Xbox games, and some of the games that we made probably predates anybody here, but it was Draken, which was a game where you were a chick flying on the back of a dragon. So we did the Draken franchise. We did a survival horror game called The Suffering, which was franchised. We did a crappy Lord of the Rings game for Vivendi, but it was in the sort of core game space. But everything we worked on at that point in time was, while mediocre in terms of commercial success, was really, really high quality. So Metacritic in the 80s. And then after I left Surreal, I went to Double Fine, and I'm not sure how many people are familiar with Double Fine, but it's kind of a creative darling in the core game space. They make sort of quirky, high-quality, artistic games. And it was at Double Fine where I was working as a VP of product that Zynga approached me. And at this point in time in the game industry, the core console game space was sort of declining at a pretty rapid pace, and there was a lot of consolidation. And Facebook and free-to-play were growing really quickly. And so with Zynga coming, I really was interested in the new business model of free-to-play. I wasn't particularly interested in the types of games they were making. I was more interested in the business model and how you could make a game that you basically release for free and still be able to make money on it and to support that game, etc. So it's such a radically different business model than what had ever happened in the game industry up to that point that I wanted to learn about it because it was so disruptive. So obviously, with Zynga, they were sort of the de facto company of the time and the best in class. So I saw it as a really good opportunity to learn from the best. And when I got there, it was obviously it was like drinking from a fire hose in terms of how different these games are in terms of how they operate, etc. And that was all great. It was really interesting. I learned a ton. But one thing I realized about a year into it was that I really wasn't passionate about the products that I was making. I was working on, at first, Mafia Wars, which was pretty interesting. It's PvP. There's a lot of fighting and the things, more core game-ish mechanics for a social game that were kind of appealed to me. But then I got moved to Cityville, which at the time was the biggest game in the world. I think we had 20 million DAO or something like that, which was really exciting. But then as I got to play the game and really understand the game, I realized that I didn't really like it. I wasn't super passionate about it. And so it kind of hit me one day when I was looking at the roadmap for Cityville, and Mark Pincus, CEO of Zynga, was walking by and was asking, what gets you excited about that roadmap? And the little bubble in my head was like, nothing. And so I really realized that this wasn't the right fit for me. Coincidentally, Will reached out to me and about KIXEYE, and really what interested me about KIXEYE was I liked the games that they were making. I had been playing War Commander, I had been playing Battle Pirates, and they were doing this new business model. They were working in free-to-play, so they're kind of the best of both worlds. So had a couple conversations with Will, looked at what he wanted to do with the company, where the portfolio was going. It very, very much aligned with directionally what I wanted to do, both with my career and where I thought the industry was going. So it was a super good fit. So not only did I get the games that I'm passionate about working on, I got to work in sort of the business environment that I was very, very interested in at the time. So it was kind of a dream job, if you will.
Excellent.
Just before you go on that, Joe, I'd just like to pull Alan up on one thing.
Mm-hmm.
Did you not hear the intro when he introduced me, the Overlord and the elderly? I do remember back to those days.
Yeah.
Just a little thing.
I think most of us are actually older.
Strider actually got his cutter build from Moses, so.
Yeah.
Okay, good. It's funny because I bring up the games that I worked on in the past, and a majority of the employees at KIXEYE, are probably under 30.
They're 12.
And they'll be like, "Oh yeah, I was 9 when I played your first game," and I was like, "Oh my god, I'm getting old." So,
well, I'd already been out of high school for 10 years when you made your first game, so.
Okay, good. That makes me feel better.
You're real old. Now, obviously, most of this is going to be KIXEYE overall related, but obviously we're going to point a little bit at the best game that's offered, which is VEGA. Do you play VEGA on a regular basis?
Yeah, I do. I play probably. It varies frequency-wise based off of what I've got going on, but I definitely try to play at least once a week. It's the game I play the most of right now for various reasons. One, it's kind of my job, but two, I love space games. So it's something that I definitely enjoy playing, and I wish I could play a little bit more of more socially, like for fun. So, but yes, I do play it.
Well, if you tell us where your base is, we can help you with that.
Yeah, I was going to say,
I know that you're going to attack me.
No,
I have no issue with you.
Stop. Oh, I can't
we would never do that. What is your in-game name and what sector are you in?
So it's the Cleaner, and it's 2314.
We were just there.
The Cleaner, 23. I got to write this down.
I think I'm in the same sector as well, right?
Nachos, I've already got it written down.
Okay, that's our next jump.
Yeah.
Yes.
It's been
I have not reconfigured my base in like a month. So
That's fine. We'll teach you.
Well, we will find the weaknesses.
Yes, you will see where you need to improve as we smash it.
You better check your phone. I bet you the thing's going whoop, whoop, right now.
Yeah, I'm sure.
They do it to us too.
I do. I have multiple. Just full disclosure, I have multiple accounts. So that's the one I'm going to give you. That's actually not the one that I most actively play.
Oh yeah. Right.
Come on.
We'll figure it out.
Well, it is actually my highest. I think is it my highest level one? It's the one that I get free gold for. So I'll just test out different things.
You can't even attack us with that one.
But I like. So, but go ahead. It's not. You can crush it easily.
We want to crush that one.
But you have to attack back. Basically, anybody on this show, you have basically carte blanche to go and attack.
Yeah.
Okay.
We want to see. We want to see what you're worth.
Come at me, bro. Come at me.
Lex knows where we all are.
Yeah, Lex knows where we are.
Okay, I'll get it from Lex.
Okay.
If you have any res, Earth will milk it from you permanently.
Okay.
Now, in the broader spectrum, we'll get back to a little more VEGA specific later. But in the broad spectrum, one of the gorilla in the room right now is Unity and the NPAPI issue. Now we keep hearing there's a drop dead date in September.
Yes.
And we've seen a couple different options. What do you see?
So it's actually one of the things that we have been discussing while I have been in Australia, and we are continuing to discuss it while I'm here. So we don't obviously have an official solution right now. We're looking at options for WebGL. There are definitely some challenges with that. We're also looking at Steam. I think John Cartwright might have mentioned that previously. Steam, it's kind of a no-brainer. It's really easy for us to implement, and it's very, very performant. So that is something that we will most likely support, but we need to figure out what our solution for WebGL is going to be moving forward. And unfortunately, I don't have an official position on that as of this moment.
Is it possible they won't, they'll just not support browser?
Yes, and it's a concern of ours. I mean, it broadly impacts not just us, but browser gaming as a whole, any sort of performance-based browser game. And we're kind of looking at through the tea leaves here a little bit in terms of no one's being super explicit with what the plans are. But that is one of the concerns that we have.
Isn't Flash kind of under fire too, though?
Well, they've been talking about how Flash has been on fire for 2 to 3 years now, but it seems to still being supported in some form or fashion. So
do you use NP API
that's
for
less of a concern for us.
Yeah, I mean, but is NP API
No.
or any of that in the Flash games? Okay, so.
Yeah.
I'm just curious because my browser keeps coming up and telling me Flash won't be supported, blah blah blah, and I'm like, okay.
Yeah, I mean they've been saying that for a while.
Yeah.
Yeah, but that they seem to continue. I think there is enough critical mass with content that there will be continued support for that. Unity is a whole different thing.
Yeah.
Okay. So, and for all the people out there because we still hear this on a weekly basis, it's not going back to Flash.
No.
No.
So
No.
quit asking.
No.
Quit asking. No, because you would not believe the butthurt that's still out there from the switch over to Unity. It's crazy.
Yeah.
And it's
Well, they just want you to turn on the one that we had that was working on Flash. Can you just turn that back on?
yeah. Just flip the switch and make it like it used to.
Really easy.
Look at Lex's face right now. He's like, oh,
A button.
For Lexus sweating. All right, now,
That leads us nicely into my question, actually.
exactly. That's where I was going, Strider.
Yeah. Alan, for quite a while now, we all started on the PC, but mostly we all play on the PC. And for months and months and months, it's been, PC guys, just wait, just bear with us while we get Android working. Then we get Android working, we still get nothing given. Just bear with us while we get iOS working. It seems to the PC guys that we are the poor boys. We're the guys that got you off the ground, especially in VEGA. And it seems that we are getting pushed further and further away from the game because nobody seems interested in PC anymore. It's either iOS or Android. Can you explain what's going on with the PC side?
So we fully plan on supporting and continuing to support PC. So the strategy for this product has always been to be a cross-platform game. PC was obviously first out the gate, so we had to get Android, we had to get iOS at parity, working well on those platforms, which required some iteration with interface, etc., and probably will continue to require iteration. But now that we're sort of over that hump, we are now looking more holistically at the overall game, regardless of platform. How the game progresses from the early, mid to elder game, what features we need to put in to support mid, elder gameplay, etc. So there's a lot of cool stuff that's going to be going into the game that I'm assuming you guys are going to like and be able to really dig your teeth into. That are starting, is getting on the roadmap. Work's already going against these cool features. So we're moving much more to feature development now from pure platform support. And that shift is literally just happening right now.
Good.
Anything you can leak as far as these future content?
Or do we have to call George?
One of the things that I'm excited about that will be coming out in the future, I am not going to give a specific time, is the concept. Yeah, it never works, exactly. Is the concept of alliance wars, which I think people might have talked about already. I'm not quite sure. But the whole idea is that we'd open a new sector up. There'd be some sort of control points within that sector. They'd be fictionalized, whether it be VSEC bases or space stations or whatever. Alliances would have to fight to take those control points. They would have to hold off other attackers, and as they hold these control points, they get, for over a period of time, if they hit a certain threshold, they will own the control point, and it will give a bonus to the entire alliance for a period of time, for like a week or whatever time cycle we feel is best for game balance. So it's really to sort of reward and incentivize people to collaboratively work together and to fight against each other. I mean, we notice that a lot of people are already sort of having alliance wars, but there's no sort of rules or rewards for it, no way to really measure it. So, adding that construct, I think, would be super cool, and it's something I would totally want to do. Hey, my base was attacked.
That took a lot longer than I thought.
Yes, the Vega community is sleeping. You should have been attacked within 2 minutes.
Yeah, they were not on their Vega.
Well, it might have been my note of taking too long to get.
Well, I don't know.
No
He's
problem.
in base right now with a cutter fleet.
No problem.
Nice base.
That is an associate of my group, and it took him way too long. That association might be.
Yeah. He needs to screenshot.
I'd hate to tell you what I call the leader, but it's because it's not particularly nice.
With the Alliance War stuff, I'm really pushing hard to get co-op combat in. So the concept of sort of co-op PvE and co-op PvP, I think, would be super cool to this game. So you could be attacking my base with multiple people at the same time. Maybe not player versus player, but player versus enemy target or something like that. But like that's another feature that.
It's already bad enough with just one person be able to attack you. I cannot imagine if you allowed multiples.
Yeah, exactly. We probably won't do that, but but
a 3-on-3, 3 players versus 3 players.
Yeah, that could be cool.
That would be fun.
That's different gig though. I was thinking base attacks, because I think more than anything we really want base. We want to be able to attack structures. We've been wanting to attack all the Vegas structures since they're just sitting there doing nothing. We want to make them look ugly. So.
No, you're preaching to the choir here. I mean, that's, I think, something that you will see in the future. Let's just put it that way.
Okay.
And we want Vega to come hit our bases too.
Yeah.
That is something that you're going to see in the future also. So
can we put an hashtag soon or a KIXEYE soon or
6 months soon? 2 months soon?
I'm not going to. Timing is still TBD. I mean, the coolest part, I think, about VEGA Conflict for me is that it's the most, we've always had this concept at KIXEYE that we make massively multiplayer real-time strategy games. I think VEGA Conflict is the closest of our games to really deliver on that vision, and we're close to really making it a true MMO. And I think some of the things that we've just been discussing, the ability to, hit the Vega bases cooperatively, just would bring a lot of life to the game and give it a lot more depth than it currently has. And so there's just the roadmap for this game really sort of writes itself. There's so many cool things that you can do with it. It's just trying to figure out how to get them all done as fast as possible.
Yeah, and one of the pieces that, I mean, I don't know if you've ever seen any of the Facebook that goes on that's Vega related. The interaction on Facebook for Vega is crazy. There are a ton of groups. There are a couple real main groups, and the interaction is nuts. Now, what I was wondering is why hasn't KIXEYE tried to capitalize on the player interaction, be it alliances or just groups? The forums, forums are so-so, but I know the KIXEYE site had like a group / type of alliance thing that was started, and just kind of looks like it got left by the wayside. Is that something that they could think of in the future? I mean, try and take away the traffic from Facebook and drive the community interaction to the KIXEYE site.
So it's something that we talked about, and one thing that I'm looking at and what we're trying to do is figuring out how we can get that more integrated into the actual game. So whether it is through more tools for players within alliances or creating other groups, things like that. So that's something that we're definitely looking at. The other thing, I mean, community is very important to us. So, having Lex sit with the team and be really involved in the community, reaching out to the community, coordinating with the community, and having that really tight bond between the game team and community is really, really important in my mind. And so that we're doing some organizational changes within the company to tighten that up. And that includes, like doing a little bit more social media and communication from the team itself, communicating out to the community, etc. So there are a whole host of different initiatives. For the game teams and myself, the tough part is there's always so much to do. So it's sort of figuring out what things are we going to do that are going to have the biggest impact to you, the players. Is it coming up with alliance control points? Is it coming up with Vega attackable bases? Is it focusing on community? Is it focusing on groups on KIXEYE.com? So there's always choices that we have to make, and we try to do our best job in sort of balancing, delivering features with supporting the community and everything like that.
Okay, just got a few real quick hits here since we're running low on time. So you can just keep these yes or no if you want. We want a space dock, yes or no?
No plans for a space dock at this point in time.
Okay, is the Rapture on the roadmap as an event or some form of prize in the next 6 months?
No, not as far as I know.
Okay. Coinable skins, we want it, it's easy money for kicks, yes or no?
I like the idea of coinable skins. This is something that I've talked to various game teams about various times. We've done a little bit of it in Battle Pirates. So recently we offered, I think it was for 4th of July, a USA striped skin or something like that as part of a offer for people that were, a sale for playing on 4th of July, and people responded really positively to it. So, being able to express yourself the way that you want to is, a critical part of how these games work and sort of the power of games in general. So it's something I'm very, very interested in investigating. The one thing that we talk about when we talk about customizable skins is how do we maintain sort of the overall integrity of the art direction in terms of, VSEC art direction, the fleets and how they look, or whatever fleets that you're getting, and still give the player the ability to customize. But I think there's some balance there. So it's something that we're aggressively looking at, and who knows, maybe it'll pop up in the game relatively shortly.
The vegans are butthurt over that Battle Pirates paint job thing you guys did.
Yeah, that's.
We're kind of upset about that. We want that.
Yeah. So, well, I think, based off of, some of the results of that, and the fact that, vanity, or not vanity, but, the ability to express yourself is just something that people want to do in all games.
We just want pink box.
Let's put it this way: that needs to be hashtag soon rather than KIXEYE soon.
Yeah, we want a pink apox right now.
Now we got.
Okay, so anyway, we'll look at it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Now these next questions, you can just kind of have to guess on where these come from. Is it true that your hair gives you superpowers? Because you have an astounding head of hair.
Well, thank you.
He's nodding now.
I wish it did. Maybe it does. I don't know.
Maybe it does.
Are your minions, the people that are underneath you in KIXEYE, are they actually allowed to directly look at your hair, or do they have to be eyes down on the floor?
Eyes down on the floor at all points in time.
Okay,
Awesome.
very good. That's excellent. Well,
Awesome.
thank you very much for the time. We do appreciate it. We've got some good info. Guys, anything real quick and real final?
There's one question you didn't ask. Boxers or briefs?
I wasn't going to ask that one.
We've got to ask it.
Boxer briefs.
Excellent. Excellent.
Well played.
Oh, there, now that we've given Lex another heart attack, again, thank you very much for your time. And I'm in like an hour and a half, actually an hour down the road from San Francisco, so I would be more than willing to whore myself out.
Yeah.
If you need it.
Duly noted.
He changes the story. So if you guys need anything changed, whatever. So one thing before you go, Alan, where do you see VEGA in the next 2 years? Where do you envision that everything's going to be by then?
That's a small question. Like I was talking about before, I think this can be a real MMO space game, and I mean I think it's really close to that. So extrapolate 2 years out with all the features that we can deliver in that period of time. This is going to be an incredibly deep, engaging game that I think will have a lifespan of 5-10 years potentially. I mean, we want to be able to add enough deep, compelling gameplay that keeps people wanting to engage in this game forever.
It's a good dream. a lot of programmers or developers have that same, obviously.
Yeah.
And
I know it's high level, but
yes,
yeah.
we want to believe that KIXEYE or the VEGA will be around in 5 years. We want to believe.
We want to believe that.
Well, we have precedent. I mean, Battle Pirates has been around for 5 years. War Commander has been around for 4 years. We know how to continue to operate these games. We know how to continue to build these games. And VEGA is a great foundation. The team in Australia has done a great job building a very, very stable tech stack that is very extensible. So, I see big things for VEGA in the future.
Yeah. Sorry, they just said something. They knew where I was going to go, and then I did just blow.
Let it die, Fear. Let it die. Oh my God. Anyway, thank you for showing up. It's spent a little bit of time with us. We do appreciate it, and good luck keeping your base repaired.
Thank you very much.
Just keep pressing the repair button for us.
Now we know where that base is. That gives your minions something to do every day.
Yeah. He's out. All right. So
Bye-bye.
Okay.
Bye, guys.
Have a good night.
Bye.
Good night.
Thanks, Alan.
See you later.
Thank you for coming, Alan.
All right. Lex dived he dived out there.
He jumped. I think he jumped out the window, actually.
Yeah.
Watching
that was a
Lex
suicide.
was more fun.
That was a rage quit. I think that was a rage quit.
Seeing
Wow.
him shit himself and try not to piss himself laughing. And
Well, that question I asked was on our list, wasn't it? I thought.
It's on your list.
You were skewing towards something else, though.
Exactly. I know where he was going with that.
The game that shall not be named.
I totally was going to ask him about BYM, so when he said, we know how to keep these
I
games
fucking
around,
noticed.
I was like, that's when my light went off. Bing! Wait a minute, BYM. Bring it back then, if you know how to keep it going.
Yeah. Or
Okay,
Tome.
fine. I didn't, I wasn't that big of a Tome. I was
More like
okay.
Tombstone.
Tombstone, yeah, I wasn't a big fan of that one.
Okay, hey,
We need a trophy for that, BYM.
I have 2 trophies in that game. Still,
Oh, God.